Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Chinese Moms in Business Club Queen's Bee series. My name is Siqi Faissat. I'm a founder and managing director at 11K, which is our China PR agency here in London. Today, I'm very happy to have two amazing ladies with us, my co-host and co-founder, Xiaofeng Faissat, and our very special guest speaker, Siqi, which I will let Xiaofeng to introduce her a bit later. For those who do not know us at all, may I briefly introduce who we are? So I think 2 years ago, Xiaofeng and I have this desire to set up a support group for Chinese or cultural Chinese moms in business to come together. And our vision is really to empower and inspire Chinese moms in business to fulfill their full potential at work and in life. And as all of us have been going through lockdowns during COVID in most parts of the world, Xiaofeng and I thought, how could we continue the conversation to stay connected with our members and like-minded people? And therefore, the birth of this Queen Bee series, which we have the privilege to interview very successful, inspiring working moms in business in different parts of the world. And today we have our seventh special guest speaker today, joining us, sharing her inner stories, successes, and lessons with us genuinely. Without further ado, may I let my co-founder, Xiaofeng, to introduce our speaker today.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sally. And then, as always, a very good introduction about the Chinese Mom in Business Club. And Siqi, thank you for coming on board today, and I'm very excited because I have been your admirer, obviously, for a long time, and particularly I think if everyone interested to know, it has been over 10 years and dated back when I was working at London Chamber of Commerce, and I was the executive for the Chinese Moms in Business Club, and so I came across Siqi at one of the networking events at that time. So I was very impressed, and she was very young and then running her own business very successfully, and so easy for me just become the admirer of Siqi. And over the years, through my own humble observations, as a businesswoman, Siqi is very confident, sharp, and in constant action. And as a mother, she's dedicated, capable, and a tiger mother from very positive sense. As a friend, she's genuine, generous, and fun, and I love being around her. There's never will not be a dull moment with her. So today I'm just so excited to have her to share her stories, because I believe there will not be lack of inspirations, and which is true reflection of Chinese Mom in Business Club's mission to inspire other Chinese moms all over the world to reach their true potential. So Siqi, welcome, and I'm sure we're all very excited to hear your story.
Well, thank you, Sally. Thank you, Xiaofeng, for having me here. First, it's quite a privilege to be here with everyone today to share my story, which for a long time, I haven't heard a friend describing me in such a long, full extent. So it's really very much honored. Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Siqi. After being here for so many years, I felt like I'm just being myself, doing the day in, day out. It's good to have a time to pause and think about what actually I have done, which might inspire other people's. So I'm very happy to be here today to share my story. Hopefully, it will give everyone a bit of a hint and to reflect on themselves on what they might do from now on.
Excellent, Siqi. So if I can actually think about a superwoman in real life, and that would be you. I mean, for example, at this moment, you are renovating your own house and aiming to move in before Christmas, and managing 4 young kids at school and at home, and also at the same time overseeing your business. It's a lot on the plate. So how you, obviously you always stay very cool and in control. And so how are you actually managing all this all together and still not lose it? And what's really, you know, have you always pushed yourself hard? And what's the motivator and where this come from?
I mean, it's a very interesting question because I do get that a lot. Saying every other hour, but mostly now on daily, people ask how you manage, how you do it. My short answer is you don't think about it. You don't put everything on the table and compare. What you do is you have an idea, you think of something, and then you put it into action. This is truly reflect in the business perspective, family life perspective, or managing a house project or any other things in life. To me, if you train to be an accountant, you have a very specific skill. So if you're a solicitor, you specialize on the legal terms, where I feel like maybe for me, my special skill will be managing. So whether I'm managing a company, I'm managing my household, I'm managing a house project, is all about managing people, managing time, managing progress. But once you compare them, it's very transferable. And then I felt like, okay, so maybe this is my skill. This is what I'm probably good at. But then from other perspective, is almost horizontally, you think about in scale. Either you're managing one child, you're managing two or three.
Or
It's
four.
always very hard for the first. Once you step where you are completely in a different world. You, as if I'm sure Xiaofang, you and Sally, you share the same experience. Whether you're managing two people in your firm or you're managing 20 or even 200. All the people that are managing like 1,000 of employees, end of the day, it's about scaling, it's about management, but you apply the similar concept. So this is when people ask me, I always say, it's actually all the same. I'm just using one method, one skill, applied to different aspect of our life. So yeah.
Excellent. Sounds like you found your purpose. That's amazing. Definitely. No, I definitely share the same view. I think they, you know, when I was doing my interview, I think Sally asked something similar like this, and I do feel like they are, you know, business life and personal life, they're not separate. They actually can be integrated together, and then, you know, they share the same skills. But
Yeah.
it's so amazing. I always feel amazing when people talk about it and then they actually felt like they found their own purpose, which is you're very, very lucky.
But you know, interestingly, sometimes people around us, they pop a question and they actually never thought of themselves about the answer. What was the real answer behind it? If they really think about it, you will discover the answer is very simple. You try to do things, you set up a goal, you have a desire, you try to achieve it, and then how you achieve it. I'm sure that we all having the transition to be a full-time student, get into the society, get our first job. Nobody started to be entrepreneurs start day one. You must have a concept to start with, where I believe every single individual will have a dream. Everybody have an entrepreneur idea. Everybody want to do something if you ask them in detail. But the real difference between the entrepreneur and the real entrepreneur and the people that keeping having idea in their mind is whether or not they step out and put it into action. Whether you've got these adventures, dare to go for it attitude. And it's the same. I mean, managing a house, managing a family is the same. There's the people who decide not to have a children because they're having this fear, but everyone always thinking about what is having more children, what is having more. You never know once you try it. You're just gonna have to embrace and do what you feel like is right for you. When people ask me, I have a one child or I have a two, how can you manage in four? I'm always saying to them, you know, you just do it because you feel like this is right for you. And once you have more children, you feel like it's not that difficult. Is manageable because different set of setting have a different set of problem. It's the same like you managing a company. More family-run boutique will have their issues, where global 500 will have their sort of batch of problems. And it's the same with running a family. With one child, you have your one child issues with their crisis, where you have a multiple children, you have their little moment where you just can't handle it. So it's all about balance and managing. But end of the day is always a happy day, which is nice.
Yeah, I think it's really about exactly what you want, exactly what you desire, and then just go to do it. It's never is going to be straightforward lines. And I guess I think the elephant in the room is always fear. I think that's what between the entrepreneur and when you got idea you want to do it, is always we have so many imagined fear, imagine the problems, and that really stop all of us in terms of having more children or your business. But by the way, I think all the moms who are listening to this, if you're going to go for another baby, and then you should blame on Siqi.
But it's really like a now or never. When people ask you how you decided, or they say I want more children, but I'm just fear of this and that, I always say do what is right for you. In this world, everyone is living for themselves. You're not living for others. There's no single rule that what is successful, what is happy. Nobody can judge nobody. So you feel like the best is you understand what is you and what you want and what makes you happy. Then you do what is right for you. So when people say, yeah, maybe I think in certain categories, probably I am successful because the material side of things, I have a house, I have children, I have companies, I have a lovely husband. It all look like bubbly. But in real, I know that myself, and then you too, as a true friend of mine, you know that I'm being very satisfying because I feel happy, I feel fulfilling of my day and my time. So yes, I mean it's tough, but it's also very rewarding, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
That's super inspiring. Siqi, this is not actually a question that we follow, but I just have this random question. For people who do not have good management skills, do you have like a tip and advice for them? How can they be more organized to be as good as you to have these amazing management skills?
Good question.
I mean, there are tons of advisors and books which also like a coaching, how to on time management. I mean, my one is very simple. My first degree was electronics engineering at the UCL. So I remember my professor used to tell me, because I was one of the old girls in a bunch of boys environment. He used to say that everybody here trained to be engineer. You're not only here to learn the knowledge, but also you are here to learn a method behind it. How do you solve a problem when there is an issue come to you as engineer? How to think? What you start first? It's like a problem solving trees. So I remember that one thing I carried away from my education, because after all these years, all this electronics, magnificent, all this is not really my bread and butter, which I'm using it day in, day out. But the method behind it, when there's something come to you, how you treat it is very interesting. The same apply when you're managing a company. All your employees, all your staff are looking up for you. They're going home every month because you're paying them to support their life. And they feel like they look up on you as the sky will never fall. So they have an issue, they come to you. But in real life, when people think about managing time, as a sense, I will always say when you wake up first thing in the morning, you try to plan. For me, I'm very old school. I always write things down. What I need to do, what's the point I need. My little to-do list every day, and then it's the same. Like you train yourself to do the math. You train yourself to know the legal terms. You train yourself to be having the common sense in the day in, day out medical work. I mean, this is something we can learn. Books helps, coaching helps, but rule of thumb is always when you wake up in the morning, spend 5 minutes about what's your plan of the day, having a timetable. It's the same like kids going to school, they run their timetable, we run our timetable, and we run our family, household timetable.
Yeah.
So timetable really helps. Whether use your phone, write it down, whichever way works for you. I think start small and then build up afterwards.
Amazing. I love the baby step approach, which sounds doable.
Yeah,
Oh, babies start learning, to crawl before they start walk and run, right?
exactly.
So yeah, one step at a time. We have plenty of time.
Good. So maybe can now move to second question. So
Yeah.
you're running your own business, which is a very successful property agency company here, and you're also supporting your husband's business. So what is the biggest lesson you have learned so far?
Well, it's a very big question. I've learned a lot. But on top of my head, what have you learned? The biggest challenge is, tomorrow is the new day.
Yeah.
It's always going to get better. You two probably share very strongly about this.
Yeah.
There's always up and downs. When you say, oh, what's the biggest moment of this and that? There are always down moments. It comes in cycle, just like our mood. Sometimes good day, sometimes you are bad day.
Yeah.
It's just like our earth, it just keep rolling. So there's up and downs. But then when you're up, you feel like I feel blessed of having what I have. And I'm prepared to suffer because I have enjoyed a lot. But when you have a dark moment, you feel like tomorrow is only gonna get better. It's gonna less, and everything will be fine, which is the case.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really, being hopeful. I think that's definitely is something I felt very, very strongly in the past couple of years. I mean, I used to get really stressed and, when we reach this stage, I'll be okay, I'll be not stressed. But actually, just like Siqi said, doesn't matter which stage is your business or your personal life are. And there will always be things goes as unplanned. There will be always things which we're thinking is go wrong. But I felt like that just stay in the moment of tomorrow, just tomorrow. The sun is coming out, we get up, and that's it. We can actually get up, do things. It's a new day. It's a brand new day. And then that sense of brand new and feeling you got another chance and then learn the lessons and then make it work. This today is fantastic feelings. It's definitely just kick away all the fears. At least I think it's amazing. Yeah.
It's very interesting. As a human being, it's very difficult to stay hyper 24/7 all the time. People say, "Oh, I'm a very positive person." Yeah, that means most of the time. But everyone has their down moment. They have their breakups. After the whole day at 11 p.m., you're exhausted. You have piles of work to do, and you have a list of issues you want to resolve. You can't be that positive. And most of the time, as us, very emotionally animal, like as women, you burst into tears and then you just can't handle it. Then usually at this time, I think the best way for any of us is going to bed, have a very good night's sleep, and tomorrow is a fresh day, and then we start again.
Definitely. I think the universe is not against us. Universe is with us. I think that's basically universe is want us to be successful, to be happy. I think that's very important. So this leads us to the third question, which is what has been the biggest high point and the lowest low points in your business life? We like to ask these kind of questions because we wanted to hear all the not just the high moment but the low moments as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the high moment, there's no a single like high moment which I truly treasure because I always feel like the high moment, the higher moment is yet to come. But I do feel very strongly. I mean, I started my business at 2007. So now is 13 years, sounds a bit scary, but it hasn't gone up to the stage where I really ultimately want to achieve. I mean, we're still on the goal. And the business I'm in is very much like a lifestyle business. So it cannot go within 3 years from nothing to a booming type of tycoon. That's very opposite to my husband's type of business. With I feel the highest point, which I treasure mostly, is the transition period. I think that's back to 2016. Throughout my second pregnancy and gave birth to my second boy, I mean my son. The reason being so is I truly transformed myself of being on 100% hands-on running my own business to up to the point where I set up the structure, I can detach myself from my business and enjoy a bit of my own personal life. And still my business is self-efficient. So I managed to set up a model which be self-efficient. So the business is no longer attaching to me as my individual personality, my style. The business is actually will just roll on its own. So that was quite a moment which I see myself being very content, being, you know, in charge, not only in charge, but managed to free my time to do things I like. So that was part of my ultimate goal of starting the entrepreneur journey. My down moment, of course, there's not only one down moment. I mean, I remember one of my mentor who, because when I was trying to be qualified as a chartered surveyor, I had a mentor who was 30 plus years in business, running a surveying company very successfully. He used to tell me that, he said, Siqi, you know, no matter how big your business is, you will be surprised how fragile it is. Cash flow is the key, and that's the king of the world. I think all of us experience and feel a lot, especially this year with the COVID situation. I mean, you run out of cash flow. It doesn't matter you are Debenham, if you are a Virgin, or you are as small as a boutique corner flower shop. You can't survive. So I think my down moment is not only one, but there are several times. Even like this year, it has been extremely tough because of cash flow. So all the down moment is when you know that you have your employees, you have your staff come in every day, work for you, work for the business, work for a goal which you all together want to achieve, and might not having their work, might not have their job in 2 months' time. It is scary, and it's about finding cash. I keep saying to my accountant and my other fellow colleagues that let's find more cash. Let's get the business rolling. Let's get more, you know, get more things, generate more revenue. Let's keep going because every day is ahead.
Yeah, cash is a king.
Yeah.
When you're running your own business, especially, you know, you pay mortgages for a few number of families. I think definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you're running a business up to the point you feel like all these people rely on the company being successful. So you feel like you have a lot of responsibilities. That's why sometimes I say whether running a business or running a family, you get too much emotional attachment towards it. Not only the profitability, but for a lot of other things, especially as a women entrepreneur. It's extremely hard because of a man, it can just be numbers. For us, we could never done that.
No.
There will be so much more out of just numbers.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the advantage. I think being female leaders in the business, because of we are emotional, not from negative sense. So that we are really focusing on company culture, isn't it? We're really focusing on managing the company, not just from the sense of, okay, profitability. So that really drives us to be creative, how to run the business, how you create a sustainable culture to actually make your people happy. Because ultimately, I think, particularly when we're actually in the business for long enough, you realize actually business is just a vehicle for us to actually serve the community, you know, the community, your clients and your associates and all the people you're inspiring. And also, obviously, the most close to our heart, apart from our family, is our team members who are actually spending more time than our families. So I felt like we should, you know, there should be more actually female leaders and mothers and turn into business leaders, because the, you know, just like Siqi, like yourself, the time management skills, what we learn running a household, multitasking. I think any mother can be a business leader if you run a household with multiple kids. It's a lot of thing to manage.
Yeah.
Thank you, Siqi. And can I just add on one thing? Actually, another question for you from what you said. So as a female business leader in property world, which is quite aggressive and quite male dominated in some ways, what is your leadership style? We can't touch on your management skills, very focused, but how would you describe yourself as a leader in your business, which I would love to hear about more.
Yeah, interesting, because unless people ask me, I never really consider myself being the old ones. I remember years back, probably you all seen that movie called Legally Blonde. So it's a blonde girl all dressed up in colors in the legal world. I think nowadays is this perception, how people see in general. People feel like, oh, you're a woman, so if you work really hard, you must not having a happy family. If you're really strong in politics, but you can't be president. I mean, nothing is possible. Who set up the boundaries? I mean, my style is I'm myself. I'm confident. If I'm capable of doing things, then everybody should shut up. I mean, you only get to say if you prove having a track record. Where I think nowadays, in general, the whole society is very much promoting women in business and empower what we are capable of doing. This is why we start seeing more women in the leadership in the IT industry, company, politics, medicine. I mean, all these different is very blossom. And then I think this is really nice and good phenomenon for everybody around us, and also very inspiring for our children.
Yeah.
For example, I always tell my girl, well, a shame only have one. Do not restrict yourself. You can be anything. And if you really want to be for it, be confident. You are that person. So I feel like if you know yourself, you're confident, then nobody will really judge you. Most of the fear are coming from ourselves, a fear of other people's judgment, a fear of the society's judgment. But if you ignore all of this, you are just shine as you are.
Yes, amazing. Be yourself and be confident. Yes.
Yeah.
So my next question is, how is your support network look like in your family life? Do you have any help while you're?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I would say I have an army of help, but not army of help. But my mom always say bossy, even back in the house. So sometimes I feel like you talking to your. But anyway, clearly I have my parents being a non-conditional support. To give in anything, the very traditional Chinese parent will do everything without me asking. So that's tremendous help. Then, of course, I have a full-time nanny. Used to have a leave out, and now I have a full-time live-in nanny, which give a lot of support day in, day out on the children. Yeah, that's about it. My lovely husband also support a lot. Jokingly, we are divided the conquer. Like I'm taking care of what they eat, and he take care of what out. So he does provide a lot of support. After a while, you start to have a rhythm, because children don't spend all the time with you day in, day out, as none of us stay around at home. Children really appreciate the time we are together, and they treasure a lot. And then, of course, in return, we make sure we spend individual time with every individual and understand what they are experiencing and what the development needs.
So actually, one of the reasons we put this question in here is to really show the true aspect of the being a mother and running your own business is. You don't have to do it all, it's nobody asks you to do, you don't have to feel compelled, and then you can ask help, because we are human beings, we only got that 24/7, and then we have different priorities in life, and then so it's okay to ask help. It's okay to have your own support network, and then actually it's really important you actually go out there to actually design, even have your own profit support network, so that you actually really spend more time on which is obviously Siqi for you is developing or crafting your managing skills and with the business. That's the best value you gave to the business and to the family. So really I think that's really the true intention here is is all the moms out there listening to Siqi's story, and it's okay to ask help. We all have helps around us to actually to achieve, and then that's really important.
I think it's importantly behind the scene, whatever the beautiful things you've seen, you have armies of people support to achieve it. Like the celebrities, they probably sing on the stage for one show, but behind it they have stylists, the dress, the stage, the light, everything has to be right to make sure when they sing on the stage for 3 minutes, the audience enjoys it. It's the same. I feel there's you don't have to be guilty to leave your children in other people's hands. Think about back in 50 years, the children can even take care of themselves at a certain stage, and that also creating the bonding is all about how you put this perception in your own mind. Basically, the children will be really happy if you as a mother being very happy. So if you feel worried, your children will be worried. And they see you as a role model, so they feel like it's right, because we as a mother, we need our individual time, we need the time with our husband, we need the time to do the things we like, and we have a time for our children. So I think this is to make our life healthy, balanced.
It is. Happy mother has happy kids, happy wife and happy households. That's what I say. I think it's very, very important. And self-love and make ourselves happy, definitely the priority. And time flies. Really, we reached to the last question. And so what's really the most important thing when it comes to parenting your kids, your 4 beautiful kids?
Parenting is interesting. Like, when people say I'm tiger mom, I feel like I'm not tiger enough.
Are you not?
I mean, it's the same like running a company or having, between me and my husband, there are certain things that I want in life, which is essential. Therefore, as running a company, there are certain things I want to achieve each year. So with my husband, we always have a New Year resolution. We've been doing that for years. So every year we have, this is something we definitely need to achieve, and there are things we wish to achieve, but it's not essential. When it comes to kids and parenting, I would say I always tell them to be kind, which is very important to me and for them to acquire that skills. So be kind, be adventurous, go for the things you want, but do learn to give up. So what it means is be kind. Everybody know we want our children to have a big heart. You need to have a love over the world. It doesn't mean that they have to join thousands of charities and this and that. They do it with their own ways to have a sympathy on people. And I mean, apart from be kind, is be adventurous and I want my children to be adventurous, to be able to take the risk if they want, and to achieve the things they want, to have their imagination and having the people attitude. It doesn't matter in what aspect. They don't have to be the top banker. They don't have to be on top of their class, but they have a desire they want to achieve, and they have the attitude to resist all the difficulty to achieve it. But then the other one is I always want them to learn to be a loser too. As you know, nowadays our children has so much. I'm not saying they're born with a golden spoon in their mouth, but they literally have a lot. They've been truly spoiled. So I want them to learn that instead of, I always tell my children, don't tell your mom that I want. Tell me you wish, because there are things that you can't get. The things I'm learning to give up, not to have, and there will be things that you have to accept the fact that you're not having it, or you can't have it. So you have to address the way and learn there are things where it's just the way it is, you can't have everything. So I think if they can manage these 3, I'll be very happy. It doesn't matter what they become. I think they will be fine. They will know themselves, and they will know how to make themselves enjoy their life.
Definitely. I think, compassionate, kind, compassionate, adventurous, creative. And I think last bit you were saying, to learn how to give up is, I think from the other perspective, is detachment, isn't it? Detachment from the results. If you want something, you go take action to achieve it, but always to have that attitude detached from the end result. And I think, this is really from a soul perspective. This is genuine as a human being who we are, isn't it? So being compassionate and adventurous and creative, love that.
And you always say that each person, the personality define your life. So I think, yeah, I don't mind they become whatever, as long as they understand about themselves, they know what they want, and they know how to achieve it. Then they know how to manage it themselves. Then it sounds a good life. Yeah.
I know. And then off they go.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know since when it has this competition. We as a mother carries a lot. And school, the kids have to go through the exam. They have to reach to a certain level. I'm sure you two share very similar. Like our root is back in China. We grown up with the parents that want us to get into a certain stage, achieve a certain degree, get to a certain level of job. Although it's just a bit too much. I think end of the day, what you want is, what really important to you is, do you really understand about yourself? Do you really understand how to make yourself happy? And we're not having a lot of time, but how we enjoy the time remaining on Earth, which is, yeah, is very interesting.
Yes, that's really, really inspiring values that kids don't get to learn at school. So I'm very inspired to hear from you, Siqi, how you parent your kids. I'm going to use it on my kids. Yeah. Yeah. Time is running very, very fast. It's come to the end of our webinar. I don't know if Siqi have anything to add before we close it.
Well, first, I really a huge thank you to Sally and Xiaofang to have me here today to talk about all this. I hope some of the moment we share where our audience and other fellow entrepreneur moms, or even just moms, or maybe daddies, will find some inspiration reflecting on themselves. I have to say that this club is amazing inspiration overall with the idea where I believe every day, even now as a COVID situation, lots of things are restricted. But if, it's like you always have a coin on both sides. If you flip the coin to look at the brighter side, the society is only going to bond us better, and tomorrow is going to be a better day.
Exactly. I love that ending. I think we'll just end there. Tomorrow is a better day.
Yes, that's the key message among all.
Yeah, excellent. So thank you very much for listening, obviously. And then if you wanted to share the video, feel free to share. And then do follow us on LinkedIn at Chinese Mom in Business Club. And we're looking forward to see you next time. Thank you. Thank you, Siqi.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.